Bye. Hare Krishna. Starting light, huh? Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodana Jayo Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Gaurani Sai, Jaya Gaurani Sai, Jaya Gaurani, Jaya Gaurani Sai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Dragi bakre, pozdravljeni v Ljubljanskem centru. Najprej en velik kribor za našo glasbeno ekipo. Hvala. Thank you. Zdaj pa bo sledil Sasano, tisti, ki ste kle skriti za hribom gor dan, se tudi lahko tako nameste. Samo da ne bo kdo v spodaj sedel. Se je že zgodilo, kdaj kaj tazga neprijetnega. Tako da zdaj povabil Ali Puruša Prabhuja, en haribol za našega predavatelja. Haribol! Tema današnjega predavanja bo, kakšne nauke lahko potegnemo ven iz Govardhan Lile. Zdaj, če kdo rabi prevod v slovenščino, bo prevala Badr Madhavi, lahko si dobite slušalke, se pravi iz angleščine v slovenščino prevod bo. Kdo rabi, naj se oglasi v Dojo Chandri Prabhuju. Hare Krišna.
Hare Krišna. Shri Govardhan ki jai. Glories to the special months of Kartik and Damodar. If we could maybe set a verse on the screen for 10:25:13. 25 is the second chapter of the Govardhan Lila, and 13 is a very special prayer by the Brijbasis. They request Krishna to help. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Jayo Gopi Jana Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna. Tomorrow also is an anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, and also Srila Prabhupada had great love for Govardhan. If you remember, it was one of his last wishes to go on one more parikrama around Sri Govardhan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so this is a famous illustration of how a pure devotee who has no desires can request Krishna to save him from danger. So here the Brijbasis are attacked by Indra, and in this prayer they say, please protect us from, O Krishna, please protect us from anger of either Indra or of demigods or of gods. So they address Krishna for protection, and they ask Krishna to save them. Who has done a Govardhan parikrama in Vrindavan? Who went around Govardhan? Okay. Very humble, not even who did. Don't raise the hands very high. My friend has a gardener in Vrindavan, and this gardener, since a Bengali gentleman, so since 25 years he lives there, and every I think not Ekadashi but Purnima, every Purnima he goes, so every month for 25 years he goes to the Govardhan and goes around the Govardhan. And once he shared his realization from his circumambulation going around Govardhan. That's a classic way to offer respect. So he, I think everywhere you have, also in Europe you have, recently I was in Kirk and there is some Camina, something, some road, some pilgrimage. How? No, Santiago, that's that's from here to whatever, Spain. Yes, that's thousands of kilometers, but in Kirk, that's nearby, they also have some across different churches and some holy places. It's a worldwide method of offering respects to all the higher spiritual personalities and forces, and to convert our movement into some, how to say, convert external journey into inner progress, to combine external journey with the inner progress. So he took me aside once and he said, you know, I've been going there for 20 years, probably it's 30 now, 20 years, and he says, you know what? Every year there is more people and more people and more people. So he says, you know what it means? I didn't. Do you know what it means? Who would like to guess? Who can guess? I mean, there is no like, huh? More bhakti, huh? More devotees. You know. How? I can't hear it. Spiritual tourists, okay, yes. Yes. Krishna consciousness is spreading, okay. He says, it means he fulfills their prayers. He answers their prayers. So that's why there is more people and more people and more people. My friend who lived in the Sanskrit school there on the parikrama path, one year counted on one of the Purnima means full moon. So full moon we will have in about 2 weeks. Another full moon. The last full moon. Have you seen the full moon like 2 weeks ago? Have you looked? Yeah. In Japan, it's a national festival. They all go on the roof and they look at the moon. Maybe they'll put a chrysanthemum flower and then they look at the moon. That's how they celebrate. We also celebrate. Yeah, that was the full moon when you were supposed to offer sweet rice to Krishna and leave it under the full moon. In Vrindavan, it's a big occasion. Yes, the whole temple courtyard is filled with huge pots of sweet rice. Hare Krishna. And morning is full of joy for everybody who comes. So, my friend, he was one Purnima, one full moon. He was counting how many people, and he can't count everybody, but he just counted how many people across and how many people in a minute and multiplied by whatever time it took. And he counted 2 million people. And that was like 15 years ago, 2 million people. Now you will have 4 million, 5 million people in just one day and night. It's like a river, full river of people. It's a very tight river of people who are coming very happily. And more, and then they will bring more. Then they will bring friends. So that Bengali devotee, he said, you know why? Because he responds. Because they come with some request and he responds. So therefore, they will tell their friends, they will come again, they will come 10 times again, they will bring all the friends will bring their friends, so there will be more and more people. So now I don't know what we will do after several 10 more years. How will everybody already? I don't know how everybody can fit. So of course now there is some lockdowns and pandemic, but still many people go there. My friend said, "I wonder. I can't believe that all of them are asking for." He said, "I wonder, what do they ask Krishna for? They all go there, and what do they ask Govardhan for?" So once we were walking around the Govardhan with him at the Govardhan retreat, and there were some boys walking in, like in pants, normal Western clothes, and they said something to us, Jai Shri Krishna or whatever, they said something like this. And I asked them, where are you from? They said, we are from the other side of the Mathura the town, a little further. So like, not too far, but also not very close. So I thought it's a perfect sample. I said, my friend always wonders, what do people ask from Govardhan? So if you don't mind, I'm very sorry for asking this. If you don't want, you don't say, but if possible, could you please say, what is your prayer? What is your blessing that you want to get from Govardhan? So they looked at me and they said, what blessing? Krishna Bhakti, what else do you need? You need nothing else. Krishna Bhakti, if you get, that's it. So I said, see, they ask for Krishna Bhakti. Devotional service, love for Krishna. What else? What else do you need? My friend was not convinced. He said, I can't believe that everybody is asking for love for Krishna. How is it possible? But, I tried. We asked. I said, either they knew the right answer, or indeed, they all ask for love for Krishna. And so they come again and again. Also, yesterday, one devotee sent me some videos. She's not here. There is Chargonya Harvoye. Some of you may know. He defended his PhD and he's teaching somewhere in the university. So he prepared some videos from Vrindavan. His PhD was experiences, I think ecstatic experiences in bhakti or in devotional service, something like this. Yeah. He had big trouble writing this because every time he approaches any devotee and he says, so Prabhu, what ecstatic experience do you have? Who, me? No, none. I have no ecstatic experience. That's too advanced, not me. He had trouble collecting the testimonies of people sharing their ecstatic experiences in devotional service. So he prepared a small video about this parikrama, and he shows a family who are doing Dandavat parikrama. So some of you may have seen. So this is actually a big endeavor. So they make full length prostration, like the full body prostration. And they have usually a stone. They put a stone, and then they stand up, and from that side again, from that spot again, another prostration, and they do the circumambulation in body lengths. But this was a combined effort. There was a family, so they did 4 of them: the husband, the wife, and 2 kids. So where the previous ended, the next would pick up. So like the family length, not like each individual, like 4. So that was a little faster. I think something like 2 or 3 days to do the Govardhan parikrama like this. Again, it's you can see that a lot of our 4 methods of devotional service are very athletic. I think Slovenians should like it, yes, because whenever I go to the park here, doesn't matter what time, from 5 in the morning, dark, till I'm with the torchlight, and somebody is already running there, till maybe not that late in the evening, but also dark, and still so many people walking, running, climbing. Walking dogs, of course, that's another thing. But in my perception, Slovenia is a super sporting country, super good care of health, and we have a lot of forms of devotional service which are very good for health. So, like these prostrations. Of course, you have to be prepared to do this because it's not an easy task. So in that video he had interviews, so he was asking from this family that same question: what was their purpose for doing this parikrama? So their purpose was to give thanks, to express their gratitude to Krishna for recovery of health. I think of some child. Some child was sick, and then he recovered, so they just wanted to say thank you to Krishna. So they were doing this Dandavat. Very happy. Plus, they said, it's a good time for a family to spend time together. It's our family time. Somebody, Hare Krishna. That's the beauty of India. And he showed some local yogis, with 3-meter long hair, in jat, these jat, how you call it? How do you translate this into English? Matted hair. And so some of them, they do 108 obeisances at each spot. So that takes several years to do parikrama like this. And then Hrvoje, our PhD doctor of philosophy, says he also did it. So he left his money, mobile phone he left at home, Can you imagine? He went without his mobile phone. He felt so vulnerable, like worse than naked. No, how can you walk anywhere without your... What if you need to check something or call something? I mean, I'm half joking, but he's mentioning this. And then he also did this, he started doing this prostrated parikrama. And he said he felt very vulnerable. Means that, you understand this word, vulnerable? What's the Slovenian? Ranliv, yes, ranliv. Very, very vulnerable. But also he felt some deeper connection to the government. He didn't finish because it's a long story, but he says he had some special realizations that it helps you to feel humble, helps you to feel dependent on Krishna, and therefore helps you to feel more connection. So everybody in our life goes through periods of being humbled. Yes. So some days ago I read a quote that the tests in your life are meant to recognize that there is something greater than me. hard as it is to believe. You have to accept that something is greater than me, and you have to accept and surrender, yes, and adapt properly. So in devotional life, you do this preemptively. You do this before the difficulty comes to you. You before that you become humble. Before that you accept all the greater powers and the greatest Krishna. Of course, our Krishna is very sweet, so we do not even usually worship him as God, and we do not usually ask him for anything material. So have you all heard that our Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare-rama, Hare-rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is a very pure prayer because we are not asking for anything. Have you heard? Everybody heard, right? It's sort of the first or second thing you hear from a devotee anywhere, right? Even on the street you meet somebody, they say, oh, our Hare Krishna, we don't ask for anything except for service. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, true. That's very pure, very pure. But then also, plus even we worship Krishna in Vrindavan in a very sweet form, meaning that we do not worship him just to feel secure, having gained such a reliable, good government service. Like in India, everybody wants to have some government service because the pay is good and pension is good, everything is good, yes? So Prabhupada says same also. I don't know how it is in Slovenia, but many places it is like this. And we worship Krishna, who is a boy. You can see here is a depiction, our Govardhan and a little boy Krishna holding the Govardhan. But then, you know, this whole amazing story, how in Vrindavan they wanted to do their traditional worship of Indra. And this is still going on in most of the world. Even here you have the maypole mlai, right? You call it mlai here, right? In the villages sometimes. It's very widespread. Usually in the spring. Something connected with the powers of life. And of course here Indra would be in the Greek or Roman pantheon. This would be Zeus or Jupiter. Yes, in Ljubljana, you just walk to that glass museum between the parliament and the American embassy. I went there and I saw it's free and open. So I went in, and on every ancient Roman stone it says Iom, Iom, Iom. I was surprised. Why Iom? Okay, Om is good, but why Iom? And it says, anybody knows? What is Iom? Maybe Krivavala knows, no? Iom. On the room. Iovi, optimo maximo, et genii loci. So our respects to Jupiter, Iovi, to Jupiter, optimo maximo, the best and the greatest, and to the local spirits, to the local genii loci. I first thought that Jupiter rules Emona. Jupiter rules the location here, but apparently this is both to him and to the local, whoever is ruling the location here. So you have an old tradition also of Jupiter or Indra worship here. Iovi, Iom, Iom on every of those altar stones. There's like 20 or 30 stones standing there with this Iom, Iom. And sometimes it says Iovi, optimo maximo. So in Vrindavan also they were doing Iovi, optimo maximo to Indra. And Krishna came to Nanda Maharaj and he said, why do you do this? What do you want to get from this? What's the result you want to get? What kind of a tradition is this? Is this the scriptural recommendation, or is it what you like to do, or is it a local tradition? So why do you do this? So these are all good questions. These are all important questions. And somehow or other he managed to convince the whole village, the parents, the uncles, the relatives, to instead worship the Govardhan, the local mountain. Which also is very modern, right? To worship mountains. You just look at the mountains, you feel better. Yeah? Now I was again in Shishka, and somehow the leaves have fallen. It's my first time to see, your beautiful forests in red and yellow, and still they hold these yellow leaves, but you can see through. And I saw Shmarna Gora from the other side, where usually before you wouldn't see. So it looks in a special way. Yeah? You look at the mountains, the beauty of Krishna's nature, and it creates a certain inspiration in the heart. It touches something good in your heart. So Krishna said, well, why do you need to worship some demigod Indra if you get everything from the cows, from our wonderful Govardhan, and from the local brahmanas, priests, so you should worship them. Which is one lesson from this lila that Krishna is giving. First of all, that Brijbasis love Krishna more than their routine. Second is that as they are doing something, whatever we do, we have to be more or less clear. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? Yeah? Otherwise, we are like robots, or we don't understand what we are doing. I remember when I was in school, I divided people into living and dead. Sorry. So, majority were dead. Like a teenager. Majority were dead. They were doing something without any idea what they are doing, just because it's they do. Now you sort of appreciate, that people do their duties and do carry out what is expected. But it's even better if you understand why. And you are clear about your purposes. So Krishna asks this question from Nanda Maharaj, and he convinces that, why don't you worship Govardhan? So they worship Govardhan, and it's a very happy occasion. It's this time now, so they have big harvests, and they bring mountains of food. Actually, this is oftentimes the anakuta. Anakuta means a mountain of grains, a mountain of grains. So in our temples also we have. Sometimes you can see some of the temple residents having private worship in front of their plate. But also, of course, a couple of days ago you could see the offerings to Govardhan, which is then distributed. Prabhupada also says how it's another lesson, and it says that prasadam was given to everybody, even to the dogs. So everybody was given some sanctified food for their benefit, and Prabhupada says this should be the proper approach. So that was on the first day, Pratipat. So that was we had it on Friday, right? On Friday it was, yeah. Thursday was the new moon, and Friday was the first day, right? Today, and then today yesterday you had the third day, right? Or today is the third day. So on the third day, Indra got angry. Indra got angry. Somebody came and pointed out, see, they didn't offer worship that they offer every year. And Indra thought, who does Krishna think he is? He is so proud. This little boy thinks that he is so powerful. He thinks that everybody should obey him. He is very proud. I should punish him. And this is so actually funny, because everything he accuses Krishna of actually is his own problem. And this is the classic, in the West they call it projection. In the Bhagavatam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur calls this Atmavan Manyate Jagat. You see the world through the lens of your character and faults. And so Indra accused Krishna of being proud. And so he sent wind to destroy Vrindavan, storms. Have any of you been in a storm? Some storm, yeah? I was once in a storm where the roof was blown away in Germany. So he sent storms, and the storms couldn't do anything to Vrindavan. So then he sent clouds. And then the clouds couldn't do anything. So then he sent torrential rains to destroy Vrindavan. And then this verse comes. So then the Brijbasis get together, and then they say, let's why don't we chant? Krishna, Krishna Mahabhaga, Krishna, Krishna Mahabhaga, Tvam nattam gokulam prabho, Tvam nattam gokulam tratum arhasi devanna, kupitat bhakta vatsala. So even though they want nothing from Krishna, this exact occasion is given as an illustration that even a pure devotee may turn to Krishna with a request in some situations. So we can go to the translation. So all the cowherd men and women addressed the Lord, Krishna, Krishna, O most fortunate one, Mahabhaga. Mahabhaga, most fortunate. Even now they don't call him God. He is their darling son, darling relative, darling boy. And then they say, please deliver the cows from the wrath of Indra. Kupitat. So it's, please deliver him from God's anger. So in this case it's Indra. O Lord, you are so affectionate to your devotees, Bhakta Vatsala. Please save us also. So they request Krishna for and they ask Krishna for protection. It's a nice verse. This first line is repeated in the Bhagavatam in different places. Arjuna addresses Krishna like this, and some others. Uttara also addresses Krishna in a similar way, asking for protection. So here they turn to Krishna asking for protection. They call him Natam Tvam Gokulam. You are the Lord, the master of this Gokula, the village of cows. So this is the village where they love to protect the cows, and the cows are very, very loving also. And then the next 7 days, Krishna, so Krishna was considering, should he just kill Indra? Should he throw the thunderbolt back at Indra, or what should he do? And then he decided that, first of all, Indra still has his service to do on one hand. On the other hand, it's a little gross to attack him with full power. So then he lifted the Govardhan. As we see here, it's the to commemorate, to remember this pastime, how Krishna lifts the Govardhan. And the small boy lifts this big hill. So that also is one of the proofs that he's not an ordinary boy. And even among different avatars, incarnations, he's special because he doesn't have to take any other different form. He doesn't have to accept a huge, big form to lift the Govardhan. He lifts the Govardhan in the same form. Once I was flying many years ago with Niranjan Swami from Kyiv to Simferopol in Crimea, some festival we had, and we had the full plane of bodybuilders with us. There was some international competition of bodybuilders in Crimea in those days. This was before the Russian invasion or annexation. And there was one actually rather lean-looking lady, there were ladies who were looking like a Rambo, but they were more leaner-looking ladies. And so there were 3 seats. There was Niranjana Maharaj, I was sitting, and then this lady was sitting. So we were, in dhoti, so I was telling about Krishna, and I said, our Krishna also is lifting weights. I said he lifted the Govardhan hill. So I was showing in the book. She was very interested. She decided to investigate. She was also very happy to get some of the prasadam cookies made without any fat, because she said, "Are you sure there is no fat there?" Yeah, that's the diet of Maharaj. He has no no fat whatsoever. Okay, then this. I crave some sweets, but I can't eat anything. So, so she was very happy to get some prasadam cookies. So she was very intrigued and fascinated by how do you lift a hill. Yes. Of course, Srila Prabhupada always points out that Krishna didn't have some training regimen, that every day he's going lifting a smaller rock, then a bigger rock. No, he doesn't have to train to become God. He is God at all times. So that's another lesson that Prabhupada is always drawing from this Leela, that this Leela shows that Krishna is not even just God, but a very special form of God. So Krishna performs his amazing things without changing his beautiful childhood, cute, sweet form. He stays in that sweet form of a boy. Whereas in other forms, when he has to perform something, he has to take either a form of a huge, angry man lion, yes, or he grows to the sky and then he does something. In this form, he's standing there for 7 days. You can see he has flute in his hands, and not any flute, but the long flute, Murali flute. And it says he even plays the flute to prove. I don't know how you play. Like Maharaj said that he still has 4 fingers there. I don't know, maybe how does it? But so much so that Mother Yashoda says, "Krishna, your belly, your stomach will not be filled just by the sounds of the flute. So eat something, please. Put down the flute and eat a little bit." So that's for 7 days. The devotees in the parental mood are with Krishna, happy to drink the nectar of Krishna's beauty and his face. So the friends are joking with Krishna or trying to massage his hand. They say, "Krishna, you have been holding the hill for a long time already, so maybe you can give the hill to Subal for a few, for an hour and take rest. And if you think that it's too heavy for Subal, then at least change the hand. We will massage your other hand. Transfer it to the other hand." But Krishna is just smiling, and so therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he prays, he says, "May Krishna's left hand protect you." Not even right hand, but the left hand. May the left hand of Krishna protect you. And we know that this is also the hand and the side that Krishna, on which Srimati Radharani is standing. So, that's, even though Krishna performs this amazing pastime, he's still maintaining his sweet form, and that is another proof that Krishna is the sweet origin of all the other avatars, all the other forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord. So, for 7 days, he's holding this hill, and he's protecting, and they have all the arrangements under the hill for everybody. They have food, amazingly enough. They had jewel houses, so things were prepared from before. Of course, Govardhan is glorified in Srimad Bhagavatam as the best servant of Krishna, the best servant of Hari. Madhavananda Prabhu is laughing that Govardhan serves all the devotees, and so therefore he's so eager to serve Krishna in every possible way, and Krishna's devotees, that he lets all other devotees walk over him. He lets other devotees to walk over him. Of course, we try not to walk on him, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was respecting Govardhan as Krishna himself. But in general, this is one of the few leelas where different devotees in Vrindavan were all together, and nobody was in a more privileged position or in some special position that others were bereft. Everybody was very happy to be with Krishna, and for 7 days they were together with Krishna without any separation. So Govardhan was serving them as the umbrella for this attack, to protect them from Indra's attack. In the Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, Govardhan is glorified as a very desirable place for staying. So this is a famous verse. In different locations of the spiritual world. Vaikunta janito varamadupuri tatra pirasotsavat vrindaranyamudara paniramanat tatrapi govardhana radha kundamihapi gokulapate premamrita plavanat kuryadasya virajato giritate sevam vivekinaka. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikunta, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan, because of Krishna's Rasa Lila pastimes, the dance of Rasa. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill. For it was raised by the divine hand of Shri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, and that's also at Govardhan, the super excellent Shri Radha Kund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial, nectarian love of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? It's a famous verse. We have 3 verses glorifying Govardhan Hill here at the end of the Upadeshamrita. I remember once I was walking in Vrindavan either from some temple or from the Sabji Bazaar, and I was near Vidyapeeth Chorai, and there was a local man with a horse cart. He had, I forgot if he had something in his cart, horse cart. Something must have been there, but he was riding a horse cart, and I was walking to the temple. It's, I don't know how many, 2 kilometers from there or something like this. And so he said, "Hey, hop on." And I said, "No." He said, "No money, no charges." I said, "Take a ride." Okay, so let me take a ride. So I sat on this horse cart, and so I was riding on a horse cart. So he says, "So, how do you like Vrindavan?" I say, "I think it's the best place in the universe." So he said, But then he said, "Actually, Vaikunta janito varamadupuri tatra virasotsavat vrindara," and he chanted this verse. And he said, "Vrindavan, yes, it's better than Mathura, better than Vaikunta, but Govardhan is higher." So this is the beauty of Vrindavan. I mean, Vrindavan is so sweet. I can tell you so many stories about Vrindavan, especially with this. Like one night I was returning from Delhi. Yes, some computer broke or something. I returned late in the night, and many times I was returning like this. But one time, sometimes it's not easy to get from the highway to Vrindavan. And there was some guy on the motorbike. So I stopped him. He didn't seem to be very eager to stop, but then he said, "Okay, so sit." And then he turned from the road and he went aside to some other village. And he said, "Just wait." I said, "No, just leave me, I will keep walking." He said, No, please, I will drop my nephew and then I will bring you to it's another like 4 or 5 kilometers to the temple. I said, why? You don't have to. You just drop me on the road. I will keep walking. He said, no, Radharani will not like if I if I leave you here. Radharani will not be happy. Just wait. I'll drop my nephew, and he brought me all the way to the temple, because he already picked me up. So if he drops me, Radharani will not be happy with me. So Vrindavan is so sweet. The Vrindavan people are so sweet. Everybody there. So that's my memory of this verse. How a villager, a simple farmer on the horse cart quoted, Rupa Goswami's verse number 9, also in a humble way, like, because I glorified his village, and he said, yeah, that's true, but Govardhan is even higher. Like, yes, that's okay. It is the best place in the universe, but there is an even higher place, a little 24 kilometers out, and this is the Govardhan. So Govardhan is very, very, very special. Govardhan is the Lord for every rasa. Govardhan is the deity for Shrimati Radharani. So even Shrimati Radharani, when the gopis are suffering in separation from Krishna, when Krishna goes to the pastures or somewhere and they are overcome by their emotions of love, then they just raise their eyes and they look at Govardhan, and then they say, Hantaya Madhira Bala Haridasa Varyo, and they pray to the Govardhan. They glorify Shri Govardhan. So Govardhan is a very special manifestation, very special expansion of Krishna to provide all the needs, desires, necessities, prayers, and blessings to every kind of a devotee. So therefore, this month is such a special month where we worship Govardhan, we worship Damodar, we worship Krishna, and we have read today the verse from the Brijbasis where they turn to Krishna, and then Krishna takes Govardhan to protect all the devotees from Indra's anger. So Srimad Bhagavatam provides every blessing, Srimad Bhagavatam provides every necessity. Even sometimes we hear that in pure devotional service you never ask anything from Krishna, but then because of this we are sort of like paralyzed, to ask for pure devotional service. Okay, I can ask, but I don't really want. And impure devotional service, I can't, because it's taboo. How can you ask for something else besides? So therefore we are sort of like half paralyzed, half dead, sort of stuck in somewhere, don't know where. But Rupa Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they specifically bring up this story that everything has place on the path of pure devotional service, and even perfect Brijbasis will exclaim in need, turning not anywhere else, but to Krishna, requesting whatever they may require. They don't really need anything at any time. Therefore, even though in Vrindavan the trees can give anything, you can go to a chestnut tree, like here you have nice chestnut trees, and you can ask for a mango. Out of season, no problem. It will give. Or laddus, the sweets, very nice sweets, yes. But they don't ask anything except for some leaves and whatever the trees are giving. And the cows also are not ordinary cows, they are Surabhi cows, so they can give anything. But also they ask for nothing except for some sweet milk to offer to Krishna. To offer to Krishna, to make butter for Krishna. They are completely satisfied in their loving service of Krishna. Shri Govardhan ki jai. Mercy of Shri Govardhan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions? Any thoughts? Any comments? Shri Kamala?
I'm a bit confused about the behavior of Indra.
Yes.
And I wonder, do we misinterpret their behavior as we just think that it's like is it possible to be a demigod and still be not a very pure person? To get there for, I don't know, doing yagas and still being mean to others, so you stay mean as a demigod? Or they are not mean, they're really like angels, if we compare it to Christianity, and we just misinterpret the story that we read.
There are different answers to this. One answer is in the Vedanta Sutra. I think it's 333, if I remember correctly. It's some reference, funny reference like this. Lokavat. Lokavat is definitely there, and the next is Adhikara. So as long as they have their duties in this world, they will perform their duties and sometimes manifest the behavior of ordinary people. Lokavat lila kaivalyam, I think that's. But this is actually done as a pastime, as part of the pastime, to provide us some lessons, to give us certain lessons. Like in this particular case, Indra is teaching, do not be intoxicated with power, do not be proud with power. So that's Vedanta Sutra take on these many strange stories. That Lokavat lila kaivalyam. Yeah, this is the sutra. On one hand.
Is it their pastime? Are they aware they're in the pastime, or are they like, how do you call them? That they are being put in a pastime by higher arrangements?
As far as I understand, there are several levels. So Baladevi Vidyabhushan in Vedanta Sutra explains that they are like angels. In fact, you cannot become an Indra unless you are extremely elevated, and that's the reason, because there will be a very high corrupting temptation from such huge power, because of such huge power, right? And therefore, they have to be extremely pure. But on the other hand, sometimes they can be sincerely involved in the pastime, and therefore it will not be all just a drama that they pretend to be like this. But indeed, they themselves do not notice how this happens, but they still are very advanced. I asked Burijan, we were asking, I think I asked Burijan Prabhu, how can Indra be so stupid, that he time and again he, like, even after this pastime on the seventh day, after 7 days, then Brihaspati came to him, his guru came to him, and he said, "Are you stupid? What are you doing? Don't you understand? This is Krishna." And then Indra, "Oh yeah, Vishnu said he will incarnate. Oh yeah, true. Oh, that's Vishnu. That's Vishnu. Oh yes, what to do?" So he sort of realized, and then he came to ask Krishna to do something. Yes, and again he attacked Krishna, and then again. So like 2 or 3 times he does something. So how can he, forget such an important lesson? And Burijan Prabhu, he said that, "I wonder how Krishna can be so stupid, but why do I not wonder how can I be so stupid, Because I heard some funny thing today, that it's not that in the morning I look in the mirror, brushing my teeth, and I say that today I will again do all the stupid things I have been doing all my life, and I will repeat all my mistakes I have been doing before, just like every single time before that. I do not say this. I do not plan this. But I go ahead and I do all the stupid things again, and I repeat all the stupid mistakes again, just like every other day before. Even though I read some wise things, I instruct somebody, do like this. But then, Krishna catches me somewhere from behind. I mean, not Krishna, some life, let's say, my own mistakes. So therefore, Krishna Indra does have indeed his responsibilities, his power, so therefore, if it happens to him once or twice, then that's he has some excuse for that. Although he had to he had to work hard to get Krishna's forgiveness, because he attacked Vrindavan, he attacked the cows. So he got advice from Brahma. He brought Surabhi, some special Surabhi from some other planets, and that was a whole story how he was asking Krishna to forgive him. Okay. Some other thoughts on this pastime? Govardhan Lila, Krishna lifting Govardhan.
The beginning of Indra Yaga. Hare Krishna. At the beginning of Indra Yaga, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd man were in the village of Yagya Brahmanas.
Yes.
That was just after this blessing of wives of Yagya Brahmanas from Krishna. Were these the same Yagya Brahmanas or some other?
Yes, actually it's very funny how they Krishna asked them, thank you for bringing this up, Krishna asked them, sent his friends to ask for some food, and they did not even look at the boys. And then he sent the boys to their wives, and they immediately brought all kinds of prasadam for Krishna and Balaram. So much so that these Yagika Brahmanas, there's this verse, dhik. It begins, dhik means like, it's translated, to hell with our learning, to hell with our austerity, to hell with our everything. Our wives are our real gurus now, because they have immediately recognized Krishna, and they, without fear, they went to bring him prasadam, and we couldn't recognize, and even though it's clear that this is Krishna, we were afraid, we didn't surrender. So we should go maybe and offer obeisances to Krishna, but who knows, or what if Kamsa finds out this is dangerous, no, we cannot go. So they still didn't go. So Ananda Vrindavan Champu seems to indicate that then Krishna arranged for the Govardhan Puja, where they were fed. They were given all the worship and prasad by the Brijbasis, these Brahmanas, Yagika Brahmanas. So Krishna, he reciprocated in such ways with them. He gave them all kinds of blessings there during the Govardhana Puja. So apparently these are the same, yes, Brahmanas. I mean, not only these, there were others, also local. Bhaguri Muni is local Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, it's their priest in Vrindavan. Okay, so Govardhan is there, Mountain of Mercy is there, and mercy is there, and Krishna is ready to help us. Sometimes help or blessings may not look very sweet, but for good digestion you need a variety of food, not only sweets, you need all kinds of foods. Yeah? And it seems that Krishna is most concerned with our spiritual maturation and growth. So there will be blessings and sometimes some training, some challenges, right? If you do not challenge yourself, you do not grow. So if either we challenge ourselves, or sometimes Krishna will send some challenge that will help us to grow up on and on to the next stage, to the next stage, to the next stage. But Krishna is also ready to provide guidance and provide protection and provide all the necessary help. And Govardhan unites the whole Vrindavan. In this Govardhan Lila, the whole Vrindavan is united around Krishna under the shelter of Shri Govardhan. So you can pray to Govardhan and you can ask for Krishna's blessings that we are able to all be united despite so many differences between different individuals. We are all so different always, and all this variety is a reflection of the spiritual variety ultimately. So all variety is coming from the spiritual world. But if we are able to put Krishna in the center, then we can unite around Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Shri Govardhan ki jai.
Adipurusha Damodaraštaka, po Damodaraštaki bojo kratko obvestila in prasadam, potem pa še program plus po prasadamu.
Se dobe ne ve, kaj poje. Res.
V mesecu Kartiku je treba častiti gospoda Damodara in vsak dan recitirati molitev z naslovom Damodar Aštaka. Izgovoril je modrec Satyavrata in privlači gospoda Damodara. To je iz Hari Bhakti Vilas. Podoba vsevišnjega gospoda je utelešenje večnosti, znanja in blaženosti. Njegovi uhani v obliki morskih psov nihajo sem ter tja. Ta gospod čudovito blesti v božanski gokuli. Najprej je razbil vrč, v katerem je njegova mati pinila jogurt za maslo, potem pa je ukradel maslo ki so ga v shrambi hranili obešenega pod stropom. Zaradi te porednosti je v strahu pred materjo Jašodo urno pobegnil stran od lesenega možnarja, vendar ga je mati na koncu le ujela, saj je tekla hitreje. Temu vsevišnjemu gospodu Šri Damodari izkazujem ponižno spoštovanje. V strahu pred šibo materini roki joče, z lotosovima ročicama pa si spet in spet mane oči. Oči so mu polne strahu okoli vratu, ki ga krasijo 3 črte, pa, da spominja na školjko, pa nosi biserno ogrlico, ki se od hitrega dihanja ob njegovem joku trese. Temu vsevišnjemu gospodu Šri Damodari, ki okrog trebuščka ni zvezan z vrvmi, temveč čisto ljubeznijo svoje matere, izkazujem ponižno spoštovanje. Z otroškimi zabavami, kot je ta, prebivalce Gokule utaplja v oceanu ekstatičnih čustev. Tistim baktam, ki so zatopljeni v znanje o njegovem veličastju in obilju, daje vedeti, da ga lahko osvojijo le bakte, katerih ljubezen prepaja zaupnost in ne hromi straho spoštovanje. Spet z veliko ljubeznijo 100-krat in 100-krat izkazujem spoštovanje gospodu Damodari. O Gospod, čeprav lahko podariš vse vrste blagoslovov, te ne prosim, da me blagosloviš z brezosebno osvoboditvijo, niti ne z najvišjo osvoboditvijo, večnim življenjem na Vajkunti, niti ne s katerokoli drugo ugodnostjo, ki jo dobimo z upravljanjem 9 metod bhakti. O Gospod, želim si le, da se tvoja podoba Bale Gopale iz Vrindavane zavedno naseli v mojem srcu. Kakšna je korist od katerega koli drugega blagoslova? O Gospod, mati Jašoda znova in znova poljublja tvoj lotosov obraz obdan skodrih mehkih črnih las z rdečim nadihom. Tvoje usnice so rdečkaste kot sadež bimba. Naj ta čudovita slika tvojega lotosovega obraza zavedno vstopi v moje srce. Na tisoče drugih blagoslovov mi nič ne pomeni. O vsevišnji Gospod, izkazujem ti ponižno spoštovanje. O Damodara, o Ananta, o Višnu, o Gospodar, o Gospod, bodi zadovoljen z mano. Blagoslovi me s tvojim milostnim pogledom in odreši tega ubogega nevedneža, potopljenega v ocean materialnega gorja. Pokaži se pred mojimi očmi. O Gospod Damodara, kot dojenček z vrvjo privezan k lesenemu možnarju, si sinova Kuvere, Manigrivo in Nalakovero, osvobodil narodovega prekletstva in jo povzdignil v velika bhakti. Prosim te, daj tudi meni svojo prema bhakti. Hrepenim samo po tem in si ne želim nobene oblike osvoboditve. O Gospod Damodara, naj najprej izkažem spoštovanje bleščeče sjajni vrvi, ki veže tvoj trebušček. Nato izkazujem spoštovanje tvojemu trebuščku, v katerem leži ves univerzum. Ponižno se priklanjam tvoji najdražji Šrimati Radharani in izkazujem spoštovanje tebi, vsevišnjemu Gospodu, ki uprizarjaš neštete zabave. Vsa slava Šrimati Radharani in Damodari Gospodu Krišni. Haribol.
Namam Ishvaram Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namam Ishvaram Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodadiyo Lukaladavamanam Param Vishtam Adyam Tato Drutya Gopya Yashodadiyo Lukaladavamanam Param Vishtam Adyam Tato yugmena satankanetram Yudhamatarugunetra yumam nijantam Taramboja yugmena satankanetram Mukhushvasa kampatri kankakanta Sitagravam damodaram bhakti-badam Mukhushvasakam patri kankakanta Sitagravam damodaram bhakti-badam Iti drik svalilabhir ananda kunde Svagosham nimajjantam akyapayantam Iti svaliladi ananda kunde Svagosham nimajjantam akyapayantam Tadiyeshitageshu bhaktachitatvam Puna prematastam shata vriti vande Tanishitageshu bhaktachitatva Puna prematastam shata vriti vande Varam deva moksham na moksha bhadimva Nachanyam vinekam vareshadapiha Varadeva moksham na moksha vadiva Nachanyam vinekam vareshadapiha Idam teva purnata gopala balam Sadame manasya virastam kimanyai Idam deva gunata gopala bala Sadame manasya virastam kimanyai Idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nilai Vritam kundalai snigdha raktaischa gopya Idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nilai Vritam kundalai snigdha raktaischa gopya Muhuh chumbitam bimba raktadharame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Mukhumbitam bimba raktadarame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Namo deva namo brahmanta vishnu Prasiddha prabhu dukha jaladimagna Namo deva namo brahmanta vishnu Prasiddha prabhu dukha jaladimagna Kripa drishti drishyati dinam vatanu Grihamesha mam avyam edyakshi drishya Kripa drishti drishyati dinam vatanu Grihamesha mam avyam edyakshi drishya Uveratma jauvatha mutyai vayadvat Vaya muchitau bhakti bhajau kritvaucha Uveratma jauvatha mutyai vayadvat Vaya muchitau bhakti bhajau kritvaucha Tata prema bhaktim svatam me prayacha Namokshe grahom me stidhamodareka Tata prema bhaktim svatam me prayacha Namokshe grahom me stidhamodareka Namaste studhamne spuradikidhamne Vadiyottaraya vishwasyatamne Namaste Dalilaya Devaya Tumya
Namo Radhikaya Tvadya Priyaya Namo Dalilaya Devaya Tumya
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Jai Shri Shri Radha Damodara ki jai.
Hare Krišna. Hare Krišna, dragi. Še nekaj kratkih obvestil. Danes se bomo spomnili na Staneta Sušnika. To je oče Antardvip Prabuja. Pred nedavnim je preminil in Antardvip Prabu z družino sponzorira današnjo vegetarijansko pojedino in nas ob tej priložnosti naproša za blagoslove za očetovo nadaljnjo duhovno pot. Kot imamo v navadi, bomo po prebrani molitvi 3-krat izrekli mahamantro. Dragi Šri Šri Panča Tatva, Šrila Prabhupada in vsi ačarje, ponižno se vam priklanjamo. Ob tej priložnosti vas prosimo, da naklonite svojo brezvzročno milost duši, ki smo jo v tem življenju poznali kot Stane Sušnik, oče Antardvip Prabuja. Naj ta duša končno dobi vaše zavetje, ki je v razburkanem oceanu življenja edino stanovitno in izpolnjujoče. Naj na svoji poti, ki je ne poznamo, stopi v smer svoje izvorne ljubezni do vas, samo izpolnitve. Prosimo vas, odpustite ji vse napake in jo vodite nazaj v njen izvorni dom. Hvala vam za uslišanje naših molitev. Zdaj bo še 3 mantre. Hare Krišna, Hare Krišna, Krišna Krišna. V ponedeljek, to je jutri, je 44. obletnica odhoda Šrila Prabhupade. V ta namen se bomo pustili do 12. V templju pa so tudi pripravili program. Začne se ob 12. Takrat bo kirtan, daritev boge, guru puđa, guru aštaka in spet kirtan. Ob 1:30 popoldne pa je prasadam. Potem pa se spet začne ob 5. popoldne z bhajani, videoprojekcijo in Prabhupada Kata, ki bo Šri Devi bo vodila Prabhupada Kata. Potem ob 7. bo Damodar Aštaka, Pušpanđali, kirtan in ob 8. zvečer prasadam. Vljudno ste vabljeni, da se pridružite nam jutri. Če je slučajno kdo danes prvič tukaj, lepo pozdravljeni. Lahko se oglasite pri meni in